I'm Delaney Pierce, 28, and for over a decade my name has vanished from every family trip list like I never existed. It started at 15 printed itineraries for Disney Cruises Europe. Everyone's name there except mine. Last month I spot an email chain for their Florida getaway. Mom, Dad, Reagan, Jackson, Cassidy, all tagged. Me erased again. Mom calls right after, "Don't do anything to embarrass the family." I hang up, book a $25,000 Namibia safari package for my aunt's crew instead. Private lodge game drives the works. First photo drops me and my little cousin on a Jeep at sunset, caption, "Finally made the list." My phone explodes. They lose it. Have you ever been scrubbed from your own family's plans? Drop your story below what happened when you pushed back. Right after college, I graduated a year early with a computer science degree and dove straight into building my food delivery AI startup in Kansas City. The app optimized routes for drivers, cutting delivery times by 30%, and within 2 years, investors poured in. Revenue hit 7 figures fast, but I kept a low profile, no flashy cars or social media boasts. Instead, I funneled profits into anonymous payments for my family's messes. Dad's gambling debts piled up from casino trips he hid from everyone. I wired $150,000 through a third-party service to clear his markers with creditors, marking it as business expense on my end. No one suspected. Then came my brother Jackson's college tuition, $80,000 over 4 years, transferred directly to the university bursar under a generic donor code. Mom's medical bills from her chronic back issues added another $70,000 paid to the hospital billing department with notes reading Family Assistance Fund. Over 8 years, it totaled more than $300,000, all traced back to me if anyone dug deep. But they never did. I visited home in Overland Park sparingly, enduring digs like Mom saying I was too busy with my little app to care about real family, or Reagan mocking my nerd job while borrowing cash for her failed influencer gigs. Dad grumbled about my absence during his tough times, oblivious that I'd bailed him out. Jackson texted thanks for random gifts he assumed came from scholarships. Cassidy, his wife, hinted at needing help with rent, but I ignored it. The support stayed secret because admitting it would mean explaining why I gave so much to people who treated me like an outsider. One shift at the hospital where my cousin Clover worked as a nurse changed that. She processed Mom's latest discharge papers and spotted the payment line, balance settled by DP full amount. Clover cornered me during a rare family barbecue in Springfield, where my Aunt Faith and Uncle Hal lived with their daughter Rowan. Faith had always welcomed me for weekend barbecues and game nights, treating me like one of her own without the drama. Clover pulled me aside by the grill, lowering her voice. "Delaney, why does your mom's hospital bill say, paid by DP? That's you, right? The full 70 grand, this time alone." I froze, burger in hand, glancing at Faith flipping steaks nearby. Clover pressed. "You've been covering everything Dad's debts. Jackson's school, how long?" Faith overheard and joined us, wiping her hands on a towel. "Honey, if that's true, you've been carrying this family on your back. Come over more, Springfield's only a 3-hour drive. Hal and Rowan miss you." From then on, I drove down most weekends. Hal taught me basic plumbing fixes in his garage. Rowan dragged me to her soccer games, and Faith cooked massive Italian spreads where I finally felt included. But the transfers continued, another 10 grand for Dad's car repair, 5 for Jackson's books. They still complained about my selfish schedule, never connecting the dots. Clover shook her head each time I mentioned a new payment. "They don't deserve you," she'd say, but I shrugged it off as duty. The secrecy weighed heavier with each wire transfer, especially when Reagan posted about their tight budget while planning yet another trip without me. I started questioning why I bothered, but habit kept the money flowing. Faith noticed my frustration during one dinner, squeezing my hand across the table. "You're building something real here with us. Don't forget that." Clover nodded, passing the garlic bread. "Seriously, Delaney, stop enabling them. One day, it'll bite back. One Friday evening, I scrolled through my inbox during a quick break from coding and landed on a forwarded thread from Reagan. Subject line: Florida trip details. Who's in cars? Attachments. Included resort bookings, flight itineraries, and a packed schedule for beaches, theme parks, and group dinners. Names listed: Mom, Dad, Reagan, Jackson, Cassidy. No mention of me anywhere, not even in the body text where they discussed room shares and car rentals. It stung like always, but this time, something snapped. I'd poured enough into their lives unseen why keep playing the invisible donor. I closed the laptop, pulled up a travel site, and searched luxury safaris. Namibia popped up with an all-inclusive package private lodge in Etosha National Park. Guided game drives, hot air balloon rides over dunes. $25,000 for 4 business-class flights from Kansas City, transfers, meals, everything. I added Faith, Hal, and Rowan to the booking confirmed with my card, and printed confirmations before doubt crept in. Emails flew to Springfield. Faith replied instantly with excitement, Hal joking about packing binoculars, Rowan sending elephant emojis. Mom rang 2 days before departure. Reagan showed me your little stunt. Booking some extravagant trip to spite us. Don't embarrass the family with your show-off money. Her tone dripped disapproval like my success was an inconvenience. I let her rant about family unity and how my actions would split everyone. Enjoy Florida, I said flatly and ended the call. No explanations, no defenses. We boarded the long flight, me Faith chatting nonstop about wildlife she'd researched, Hal dozing with noise-canceling headphones, Rowan glued to the window spotting clouds shaped like animals. Landing in Windhoek felt surreal. A driver whisked us to the lodge, adobe-style buildings nestled against red earth infinity pool, overlooking waterholes where zebras drank at dusk. Mornings started with coffee on verandas, afternoons tracking lions in open-top jeeps, evenings around fire pits sharing stories under star-filled skies. Rowan bonded instantly with the guides, asking endless questions about rhinos and conservation. Faith snapped photos of every sunset Hal tried local Bry meats and declared them better than Kansas City barbecue. I relaxed for the first time in years, no secret wires to send, no complaints to absorb. On the third game drive, our Jeep stopped near a herd of elephants. Rowan climbed onto my lap for a better view, her excitement infectious as a calf splashed in mud. That night back at the lodge, I uploaded one shot Rowan and me on the Jeep, wind whipping our hair, vast savanna behind us. Caption: finally on the family list, Namibia. Posted to my rarely used Instagram. Notifications trickled, at first likes from coworkers, a comment from Clover. You deserve this. Love this for you guys. Then it snowballed. Views climbed past 1,000 shares from mutual contacts. People assumed the family list meant I'd splurged solo on this opulent escape, ditching obligations for luxury. Comments poured in, queen move, living your best life. The post hit 10,000 views overnight, algorithms pushing it further. My phone buzzed relentlessly, unknown numbers, old acquaintances congratulating my glow-up. But beneath the praise, I knew the real storm brewed back home. Back at the office on Monday, I settled into my corner suite overlooking downtown Kansas City, jet lag fading as I reviewed quarterly reports. The Namibia trip still buzzed in my mind, Rowan's laughter during elephant sightings, Faith's awe at the dunes, but work demanded focus. My assistant buzzed the intercom. Delaney, there's a disturbance in the lobby, 2 women insisting on seeing you, security's involved. I recognized the names immediately when she described them, Reagan in her signature oversized sunglasses, Mom waving papers. Heart pounding, I took the elevator down, heels clicking on marble floors. The lobby hummed with employees pretending not to stare. Reagan paced near the reception desk, voice echoing off glass walls. Where is she? That ungrateful brat thinks she can flaunt our money on strangers. Mom spotted me. First, face flushed. There you are. Explain this nonsense paying for outsiders while we scrape by, return every cent. Security flanked them, a guard murmuring into his radio. My team lead hovered nearby, eyes wide. I approached calmly, nodding to hold off escalation. Let's take this to the conference room. No need for a scene here. Reagan ignored me, thrusting her phone at onlookers. Look at this. My sister wastes thousands on my aunt's family, rubbing it in our faces. She's buying loyalty because no one wants her. Whispers rippled through the lobby. An intern filmed discreetly. Mom joined in louder. You've always been selfish, Delaney. Those people aren't your real family. Give back what you owe us. The accusation hit hard, but I stood firm. Owe you. Let's clarify that right now. Wife! I pulled out my tablet, opened a secure folder with scanned receipts, and projected onto the lobby screen, visible to everyone. Line items appeared: casino payoffs to Dad's creditors, $150,000. Jackson's tuition statements, $80,000. Mom's hospital discharges, $70,000 more. Total scrolled over $300,000 in anonymous transfers. Gasps echoed. Reagan's mouth opened, closed. That's impossible. You never... Exactly. I cut in, voice steady. I handled it quietly so you wouldn't worry. But no more. Consider this the end of my contributions. Mom lunged forward, but security blocked her. You think you're better than us? Parading your wealth like some savior. Reagan sneered, recovering. Who do you think you are, cutting us off after everything we've done for you? I met her glare. I'm not your bank anymore. The words hung heavy, final. Employees murmured approval. One clapped softly. Security escorted them out, Reagan yelling obscenities until the doors shut. Upstairs, my team bombarded me with questions, but I waved them off. Adrenaline surging. The projection stayed up, briefly, proof for anyone doubting. Texts from coworkers flooded support, shock offers for coffee chats. For the first time, my workplace felt like allies, not just colleagues. Reagan tried one last jab via voicemail left on my office line. This isn't over. You'll regret humiliating us. I deleted it without reply. Mom sent a follow-up email demanding an apology meeting. Ignored. By lunch, rumors circulated the building: Delaney's family showdown. My CTO pulled me aside. Whatever that was, handle it off-site next time, but damn respect. I nodded, grabbing a salad, mind racing toward the inevitable digital fallout. That night, my inbox lights up with a subject from Jackson: we need to talk, family first. The message unfolded like a novel of blame. He started with childhood anecdotes, twisting them to paint me as the distant sibling who always put work over us. Then came the present. Your Namibia stunt humiliated Mom and Reagan in front of everyone. We're struggling here. Dad's job hunt isn't going well, and my part-time barely covers books. You're selfish for splashing cash on outsiders while your real brother scrapes by. He listed grievances: my absence at holidays, ignoring Cassidy's hints for baby furniture, choosing that side of the family over blood. Come on, sis, step up like you used to. Send something for tuition this semester. We count on you. No acknowledgement of the lobby chaos, just demands wrapped in guilt. Cassidy followed with texts. Hey, heard about the big reveal? Cool, you helped before, but Jackson's stressed about classes. Could you cover the remaining balance? It's only a few grand. Thanks. Emojis of praying hands. Then another. Family helps family, right? I stared at the screen in my apartment takeout, cooling, untouched. Years of silent sacrifices boiled up. I attached screenshots, university portals showing paid invoices for Jackson's semester's, bank statements, highlighting transfers labeled tuition aid. Reply to him: here's what I've covered, no more. To her: balance settled years ago, done. I blocked the auto payments next, logging into accounts and canceling recurring wires. Confirmation emails pinged, stopped. A weight lifted, but anger lingered. Clover saw the exchange somehow. Maybe Jackson forwarded in panic and posted an Instagram story, a simple graphic with, "Real support shows up quietly, not when cameras roll. Proud of my cousin for choosing peace." Tagged me, no names for the others. Views spiked among extended relatives, likes from second cousins, a few aunts. Responses trickled in private messages. One uncle: "Always wondered why you missed gatherings. This explains a lot. Good for you." A great aunt: "Blood doesn't entitle demands. Stay strong." Others stayed silent, radio quiet from Dad's side. The divide widened without my input. Jackson fired back an hour later: "Deleting payments. That's low. We'll manage without your charity." Cassidy: "Guess we're on our own now." Harsh. I archived the threads, no response. Sleep came fitfully, mind replaying the gaslighting phrases. Morning brought more story reposts from Clover's nurse friend solidarity notes. Workplace Slack buzzed with subtle support emojis, no direct mentions. By afternoon, a group chat from distant relatives formed, excluding the core Pierces. Questions about past exclusions surfaced gently. I observed, didn't engage. The shift felt irreversible. 3 weeks later, a certified letter from First National Bank landed on my desk, addressed to the Pierce household in Overland Park. Bold red stamps screamed, "Final notice foreclosure pending." It detailed missed mortgage payments, now 6 months delinquent, with a balance ballooned past manageable. The house Mom and Dad split level where I'd grown up was set for auction, unless settled within 30 days. Jackson forwarded it to me, no context, just a scan attached to a blank email. My phone rang that evening, Dad's number flashing. I answered, expecting a plea. Instead, Tim's voice snarled through. "You think you're clever cutting us off? Keep the money coming, or I'm blasting you on Facebook telling everyone you abandoned your own parents, left us homeless. Oh, and you're out of the will. Done." His threat landed heavy, calculated. I leaned back in my chair, staring at city lights from my apartment window. "I don't need your inheritance, Tim. Never did." My tone stayed even, cold. He sputtered, cursing, then hung up. Next morning, I dialed my company's attorney, a sharp litigator named Karen, who'd handled patent disputes. I recounted the call, sent her Tim's voicemail saved from the night before. By noon, she drafted a cease and desist letter citing defamation risks and demanding no public statements about me. Certified mail delivered it to Overland Park within 48 hours. Karen added, "If he posts, we sue, you're covered." Jackson's next email arrived short and bitter. "Can't pay tuition now. Dropping out. Thanks for nothing." I didn't reply. Clover texted soon after saying she'd heard from a cousin Jackson, unenrolled from his engineering program, picking up shifts at a warehouse. Sandy, meanwhile, started pulling double shifts, mornings at a diner, evenings at a retail stockroom. Her social media went dark no more, posts about family blessings. Faith called that weekend voice warm over the line. "Come to Springfield soon, honey. Rowan's got a school play and Hal's itching to grill for you again." I smiled, promising a visit. Their home, 3 hours from Kansas City, had become my anchor game nights. Rowan's, Chatter, Faith's, lasagna. I drove down the next Saturday, pulling into their driveway to hugs and the smell of charcoal. Over dinner, Clover updated me. The extended family's group chat buzzed with debates. Some cousins called Tim's threats desperate. Others stayed mute, unwilling to pick sides. Faith shook her head, passing the salad. "You've done more than enough. Let them figure it out." I nodded, but the foreclosure notice lingered in my mind. The bank didn't bluff. Records I accessed later confirmed the auction date was set. Tim's call hadn't mentioned the letter, but his panic suggested he knew. I felt no urge to intervene, not after his ultimatum, not after years of erasure. Rowan tugged my sleeve, showing me her play script, oblivious to the weight I carried. Faith caught my eye, her look steady. "You're always welcome here, no strings." Hal raised his glass, a quiet toast. For the first time, I believed home didn't require a transaction. Thanksgiving week arrives, and I load my SUV for the drive to Springfield trunk, packed with pies from a local bakery and a bottle of wine for Hal. The 3-hour trip down I-44 feels routine now, radio playing soft jazz as suburbs give way to rolling hills. Faith's house glows with string lights when I pull up Rowan, waving from the porch in her pilgrim hat from Schoolcraft Day. Inside, aromas of turkey and sage fill the air. Hal tends the grill outside for smoked sides. Clover arrives with cranberry sauce, and neighbors drop by with casseroles. We set the table with mismatched china laughter echoing as Rowan recites her class poem about gratitude. Faith pulls me into the kitchen for last-minute gravy, stirring her apron dusted with flour. Over appetizers, Clover leans in. Word from the grapevine, your dad's side has gone quiet. No invites to their holiday stuff group chats muted you out. Some cousins asked me why, but I kept it vague. I nod, slicing cheese. The silence from Overland Park doesn't surprise me anymore. Reagan's last post was a vague rant about betrayal, tagged no one. Jackson and Cassidy unfollowed entirely. Dinner spreads feast-like roasted bird stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans with almonds. Hal carves passing plates. Rowan insists on sitting beside me, chattering about her soccer team. Faith raises a glass. To chosen family and new traditions. Mid-meal, my phone vibrates on silent, a scanned letter from Karen's office. Subject, will amendment confirmation. I excuse myself to the hallway, opening the attachment. Tim's signature at the bottom, notarized, revoking any mention of me in their estate. The house savings, everything rerouted to Reagan and Jackson exclusively. Back at the table, I slide the phone away. Faith notices. Everything okay? Tim signed papers, cutting me out of the will. I keep my voice low, matter of fact. I'm already set financially. Clover whistles softly. Petty but expected. Rowan tugs my sleeve. Does that mean no more boring cousin visits? We laugh, tension breaking. Dessert follows, pumpkin pie, whipped cream piled high. Hal shares stories from his plumbing days. Clover teases Rowan about her crush on a classmate. The evening winds down with board games, fire crackling in the living room. Before bed, Faith hands me an envelope in the guest room. Open this tomorrow, but know it's from Hal and me. Inside, documents for Rowan's college fund, my name added as co-beneficiary with $50,000 seated. For her future and yours if needed, you're part of this. I hug her tight. This means everything. Morning brings leftovers and coffee on the porch, watching leaves fall. Clover heads to her shift, promising texts. The drive home feels lighter, the amendment just paper. My wealth came from code and grit, not inheritance. 1 year after the trip, my startup expands into healthcare logistics, partnering with hospitals for real-time supply tracking. Revenue doubles, offices fill with new hires, and I bring Clover on board as medical advisor. She transitions from nursing shifts to strategy meetings, her insights sharpening our algorithms for emergency deliveries. We brainstorm in glass-walled conference rooms, coffee fueling late nights. Rowan grows taller, her soccer trophies lining Faith's shelves during my Springfield visits. She drops the cousin label one weekend, hugging me at the door. Hey sis, wanna see my new bike tricks? The word warms me more than any boardroom win. Hal teaches her basic tools in the garage while Faith experiments with recipes, pulling me into taste tests. Back in Kansas City, silence from Overland Park persists. A mutual contact mentions Tim working security at a strip mall, badge clipped to his uniform. Sandy waits tables at a chain restaurant, apron stained from long hours. Jackson stocks shelves in a distribution center early mornings, and heavy lifts replacing lecture halls. No messages, no accidental run-ins. Their social feeds stay empty of family tags. My calendar fills with investor pitches and product launches. Clover joins weekend barbecues when schedules align, Rowan dragging us to local fairs for cotton candy and rides. Faith sends care packages, homemade jams, notes in her neat handwriting. Hal fixes a leaky faucet in my apartment during one visit, refusing payment with a grin. Professional milestones pile up magazine features on women in tech speaking gigs at conferences. I mentor interns echoing lessons from my own climb. Clover's role evolves. She leads training sessions, her hospital experience bridging code and care. Rowan calls nightly, sometimes homework questions turning to life advice. Sis, how do you handle mean kids? I share stories of boardroom battles simplified for her age. Faith listens in, adding wisdom from decades teaching. The peers side fades further, blocked numbers, deleted contacts. A distant relative forwards a rare update, foreclosure finalized. They rent a small apartment now. I file it away without response. Company valuation hits 8 figures. Clover celebrates with a team toast, Rowan sneaking sparkling cider. Faith beams via video call. Proud doesn't cover it. I reflect during quiet evenings on my balcony. I once believed family meant funding their lives. Now I understand it's who invests attention, shows up consistently, chooses you daily.